I'm Dan Furman from Cricket Hill Garden, and today we're going to discuss planting a tree peony. It's early September here in Connecticut, so now is the time all along the East Coast that you want to begin transplanting and planting tree peonies. When you receive a peony in the mail from us, it's going to look like this. This is a very nice 2-3-year-old tree peony. You can see we've marked the variety name here with a tag, both in English and Chinese. We've marked the recommended planting depth here with this piece of red tape, and then the roots are nicely wrapped up in damp core to prevent them from drying out. So before we even begin digging the hole, what we want to do is remove the roots from the bag and put them in a bucket of water to prevent them from drying out while we dig our hole. So you want to gently remove the plastic here. I put it on the ground to make that easier. We're working with a sharp knife here. So you want to be careful when doing this that you don't cut into the roots. And you don't want to discard the core here. We're going to use this as a mulch on top of our planted peony. So you can just leave that in the bag. So if you have a look at our plant here, here's the graft union. You can see the tree peony is beginning to form some of its own roots. It's got a nice new shoot coming up here. That's why we've marked the planting depth kind of high on the stem here. We want to cover this new shoot with soil. Below that here is the herbaceous graft root. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to put this in a bucket of water to soak while we dig our hole. Now we're going to dig our planting hole. We prepared this area in late June, putting down lime and azomite to raise up the pH of the soil as well as add minerals. We also put down compost and these rotted wood chips to suppress the weeds. Just to review our site selection here, we have a well-drained area, receives 4 to 6 hours of sun, has good air circulation, and is also protected from strong winds, because we are planting a tree peony here, and you don't want to plant that in a place that's liable to get really strong winter winds. So the first step is to rake back our compost here from the center. We're going to begin by digging a hole that's 2 feet wide by 2 feet deep. That's usually enough, but we'll see. Whew. So we dug our hole here. Now we have to check the planting depth. Going to get our plan. And it looks like our hole is actually a little bit too deep. We're shooting to have the soil level right at the red ribbon here, so we want to have it a little bit higher. Remember to leave this red ribbon, which indicates the planting depth, on your peony while it's soaking in water. We'll remove it when we finally plant it. So we're just going to add a little bit of soil, mix of half native soil, half compost. Just a little more soil. Okay, you can see that looks better. The next step is we're going to dust the interior of the hole here with half a cup of lime and half a cup of azomite. We're doing this because the soil here is particularly acidic, and we just want to ensure that we hit our target pH of 6.5 or 7. So that's about half a cup. Half a cup. Just want to mix this around a little bit. Okay, now we're going to place our peony here. when we're backfilling, covering up the roots here, we want to use 50% compost and 50% native soil. The reason that you don't totally fill this hole with compost is you don't want to make the soil too rich in here. You want to encourage these roots, the new roots, to spread out and find nutrients elsewhere. So if you made the soil too good, the roots would get a little bit lazy and they wouldn't want to go find the nutrients which are available here, but maybe just not in greater quantity as in this compost. So just a little bit of compost, a little bit of native soil, mix it. Okay, so when the hole is about halfway full, you want to take some water and water it in. This ensures that the soil settles evenly around the roots and you don't end up with any air pockets by the roots. So just let that water settle out and then we'll fill in the rest. Okay, so after a minute or two, the water settles out into the soil and we can continue filling. So again, we want to use about half compost, half native soil. And we want to mix them together. Okay, now we want to remember to remove our planting depth indicator here. And you want to shape the soil so the peony is kind of in the center of a shallow depression here. This will allow it to retain water a little bit. We're going to finish watering here. See, creating a small depression prevents the water from running away. Okay, so the water has basically all settled into the soil. However, this new shoot here, we can see, is exposed, so we still want to add an inch or two of soil. So we're going to go ahead and do that. A little bit of native soil. A little bit of compost. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to take the remaining half a cup of azomite, sprinkle that around about a foot away from the base of the plant, as well as the lime. And you just want to gently incorporate this into the soil. Now we're going to take our core that we had here from the shipping package and also just use this as a mulch around the plant. Now, as you can see, from the area that we prepared in June, we still have quite a bit of compost all around the plant here. That's very good to have this berm of compost. As this plant grows and its roots spread out, all of this really good organic material is going to be there for the plant as it grows. So this is really all you need to do. One last thing is you do want to remove the plastic label from around the plant. We don't like to keep plastic or anything on the plant during the winter. You could have ice under here. What we need is a little bamboo stake or something to put the label on so we don't forget what variety this is. But this is all you really need to do to plant a tree peony. You know, with just a little bit of care, this plant will probably still be here in 100 years.